What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, but it's also a little more challenging than it was this morning. If we look at all the flags that are set up along the riverbank, the breeze is definitely blowing down the river towards these guys right now, which does make things a little more difficult. Our golden days out on the water are those days where you look at the water and it's just a mirror with reflection. So as the wind blows down the Yarra, it will make the conditions a little more challenging, which might be a reason why we've seen a couple bobbles, couple falls, but these guys are professionals and this is what we do every day and this is just a part of our job. So let's see what Daniel Johnson can throw down. As Noah said, he killed it absolutely this morning. As it's like super cutthroat format here, he wasn't able to make it into the final, but he is on the water right now. Daniel Johnson coming in, going Crow Mob 540, landing that super solid, nice and clean, coming back in on his heel side approach, wasting no time at all, going the nuclear back mob. A little sketchy, a little bobbly, but he's still on top of the water and he is riding away. And I believe, I want to say down towards the end, that was a toe side 900.
Corey, honestly, it didn't have the screen there, and I couldn't see it, so I'm gonna stick with you. Let's go with the toe 9.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was looking through the GM advertisement and the trees and all the fans down on the water riverbank just down there. So that last one could be a little iffy, but I believe he is still standing up on top of the water and made it all the way to the end of his first pass, which is a tick, a success. So Daniel Johnson, 4 tricks down, 4 tricks to go to see if he can punch his way into the final.
Yeah, it's what we mentioned. It's what we were looking for was that stand-up pass number 1, and Daniel Johnson doing exactly that. I tell you what, it was a bit of a close call on that, the back mob there. But DJ somehow riding away from that. Amazing grab. When you're talking about a back mob like that and to grab it nuclear, that's just a whole nother thing.
Yeah, all these young kids are getting so good at wakeboarding now. It's ridiculous. Like, there's no way that, like, my body even, like, would be out of reach and, like, rotate in that way. All these young kids are getting so good. And the creativity that they have with such a structured sport like wakeboarding, like, it's incredible to watch, and they're just like innovating and making new things up and new grabs and new rotations, and it's kind of cool to somewhat be a part of the progression and also be a fan of it at the exact same time. So Daniel Johnson coming back in for his second pass. There we go. That was sick. Going handle pass 3-2-1. Getting a super solid stalefish grab in between the rotations, coming back in, either switch or regular. You never know with this kid. Going hillside 720. Third trick in, coming in, going the Moby Dick. Knowing Daniel, he probably would have liked to take that to 5, but hey, he's still on the water and he's cutting in for his last trick. Going the unorthodox Tootsie Roll, going front roll, grabbing the whole way through, and then dropping a toe side backside 180 at the end of that run that we've had. Let's go.
It sure is. Stand up 2 passes there from Daniel Johnson, and wow, what an incredible pass number 2. That cab 7 for his second trick, that stall through the middle, just unbelievable style, and then straight back in. There was that Moby Dick. This was a really solid pass number 2 from Daniel Johnson. I gotta say, that Tootsie Roll, it is one of my favorite tricks to watch these days. The way a lot of the riders are doing it in that unorthodox fashion, it doesn't look anything like the traditional Tootsie Roll there at all.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll leave it up to the young kids. I blew my shoulder doing that one time out of the boat, so I'll leave that up to the younger kids these days.
Well, folks, that is going to bring us to the end of our LCQ number 1. Incredible riding from all 6 of our riders, and just a reminder to everyone who is on the banks of the Yarra River and then also watching along at home on moombamasters.com.au. Well, if you want to get the Ride Line app from the WWA. That is where our scores come to first, so you can follow along and be one of the first in the world to know which rider will be going through to the LCQ. As soon as we hear, we will, of course, announce that. But, well, Corey, Noah, this heat number 2 that is coming up next, I tell you what, it really shows you the level of the riding this morning, because some of the biggest names in wakeboarding in this second LCQ, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, this is insane. I'm like so glad that I'm sitting here on the bank, being a fan, watching and calling for you guys, and like actually having to lock in and concentrate and have to put on a performance. This is such a heavy heat. Starting off with Luca Kidd, one of the best riders in the world, one of the most creative riders in the world. Ulf Ditch, probably boosts harder than anybody else in the world. Thomas Herman, the best double-up rider in the world. And Massi Piffaretti, the most creative rider in the world. So let's get this thing started. Luca Kidd going one-upping what he did this morning in the semi-finals, falling on that backside 7, smashing it out here in the LCQ. Coming back in on his toe side, going the nose grab, chromo 5, landing that super solid, got the grab, rotated it, coming back around, still riding on the water. And
I think it was the wrapped Moby Dick. And last trick there, it could have been hard to tell. But Luca Kidd standing up that pass number 1, and that is one heck of a start to this second LCQ.
Yeah, he did finish off that run there with the wrap Moby Dick. Luca is known to bring that trick to 5, so 1 less 180 than he was hoping for, I think. But he did get that back 7, which took him down 2 times in a row this morning, unfortunately. But Luca being a super solid rider, you know he's going to want to get out of this LCQ. And he just put down a solid 4 tricks there in his first pass. So let's see what he's going to do here in his second pass as we wait for that water to calm down and get some absolutely perfect conditions for that Nautique G23 to cruise back on down and give Luca the biggest wake in the industry. I'm excited to see what he's going to put down here in his second run, guys.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible heat number 2 in our last chance at qualifiers. Some of the biggest names in wakeboarding. And coming up next, one of those names out here on the water right now representing Great Britain. It is, of course, Luca Kidd, and has that real unique style in his riding. We saw that with some of those tricks like that wrapped Moby Dick. And I'm pretty excited to see this second pass. Luca Kidd getting underway right now.
Dude, I'm excited to see this whole heat. This heat is going to be a heater. So Luca coming back in for his second pass in the LCQ. His last chance to punch his ticket into the final. And Luca just boosting, going huge on the cuffed toe side, backside 720. So when I say cuffed, Luca coming in with 2 hands on the main wakeboard handle. You're going to see a lot of people coming in wrapped, utilizing the wrapped handle that is located in front of the main handle. Luca going a little bit different, edging in with 2 hands on the main wakeboard handle, and that allows him to spin a lot quicker than the usual takeoff you get. So going the toe side, backside 720, super technical, and just going too big and just landing in the trough, and couldn't pull it out, unfortunately. But if you're going to fall, you might as well fall there and get a whole pass on the way back, right?
Yep, that is exactly it. That's the spot to fall. And Luca Kidd from Great Britain, well, will we see that toe side, backside 7 again? That is an incredibly technical trick from Luca after, of course, that stand-up pass number 1. So, well, he certainly wants that spot in the final here tomorrow, and he is doing everything he can to get up there. Luca Kidd with a, well, great start so far. This fall is going to make it a little more challenging, but this is going to be a very exciting comeback from Luca Kidd for the rest of this pass number 2.
If I were a betting man, I'd say that Luca's going to throw that cuff toe back 7 once again, as it is a super high scoring trick, and I know Luca's got that trick in the bag. uncharacteristic of him to go down on it as that G23 comes back down the Yara. Let's see what Luca's going to put down for us here today. A lot of real estate here left. If I were him, I'd get cooking and get to work here. As he passes that ski kicker on his heel side edge now, switching it up from that toe back 7, he does. Oh, similar situation to what happened there with, who was it who did the double back roll and pulled out into a roll to blind? Yeah, Noah Bullard. Wanted the double flip there. Unfortunately, not getting the takeoff he wanted and trying to pull out into that roll to blind. Another high-scoring trick. Just unfortunate for him. Slipped out on his back. Had a little bit too much juice off of that massive Nautique G23 wave, taking him down and ending his campaign here for the second heat of the Pro Men Wakeboarding LCQ. Although he is the first rider in the second heat, so we will see how the other riders stack up against Luca. It could be enough. It could not.
Yeah,
keep your eyes on the water.
The bar has been set, folks, so now we know what these other riders have to chase. Luca Kidd, of course, the first rider off the dock here, but well, a lot of riding to come. And don't forget, folks, after this wakeboarding action here this afternoon, we are going straight into our women's jump. So there's going to be some high-flying action out here on the Yarra River all afternoon long. Now, just for any of our female jumpers out here, if you are competing this afternoon and still need to get your rope measured, head on down to the homogulators, and they will do that for you. So please do, if you need to measure some ropes before we get into the women's jump competition. So let's head on down there with your jump ropes. But Corey, I'm excited to get back on the water here. Our next rider over from Japan, and Haruki Komatsu will be our next rider here for this last chance qualifier.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what Haruki can lay down. I believe this might also be his rookie event in the World Tour. So a couple rookies stepping up into the pro ranks, trying to test their cards and kind of see what they got against the best riders in the world. And there's always so much young talent rolling through, and it's always super interesting to see a lot of international riders coming through. I know Shota Tezuka, probably the most well-known Japanese rider in the world, maybe one of the most well-known wakeboarders in the world. And it's really cool to see that next generation of Japanese riders follow suit and trying to live the life that Shota has kind of proven to all these riders that is possible and that you can work hard and can chase your dreams and wakeboard every day and compete in the best events in the world. So that being said, Haruki coming in to start his first pass in the last chance qualifier here at the MOOMBA Masters, going huge. Oh my God, unfortunately just going down on the KGB, going absolutely massive. Looked super nice off the wake, and unfortunately just slipping the handle pass. And if you don't have that handle, Stu, you're going down.
Yeah, you could see it, that momentum, impossible to slow down. And Haruki, well, just got himself a little out of control there. But I tell you what, behind this Nautique wake, these guys are just going huge.
Yeah, the wake's massive. It was so nice to get out and have a set on behind the G this morning. The wake was huge. The conditions were great. And it's just always so nice to like come to an event and know that the wake is going to be massive. It's like one less thing that you have to worry about. And it's also a pleasure coming here to the Yarra for MOOMBA Masters because you always know that the conditions are going to be amazing as well. So personally for me, this is like one of the events on tour that I can come to, and I have no doubts in my mind that the wake's going to be huge, the water's going to be great, and the crowd's going to be huge, and it's going to be super loud. So it's super exciting to like come to this event and just not have like any doubts whatsoever. And it's just like, all right, game on. It's like all on you at that point. So the wake's definitely huge. Everyone was loving it. I know I spoke to like everyone after they rode this morning, and everyone was like, dude, this is the biggest wake I've ever ridden. So Haruki definitely proving that fact. Unfortunately, to slip in the handle on that KGB first trick, but let's put that aside because he is back up on top of the water right now and getting straight back into it, edging out coming back in on his hillside edge. Will he go for it again? No, he won't. He will go the hillside 7. That thing was huge, dude. Dropping from the sky. Had so much time. Could have gone a hill 10 on that. But said, you know what? I'm just going to play it safe and do a hill 7.
Yeah, that was absolutely massive. I know you mentioned before the Japanese style of Shota Tezuka. It had a little Shota Tezuka vibes on that one. That hill 7 was absolutely huge.
Yeah, I don't know what they feed them in Japan. All the Japanese athletes are so good across all the action sports disciplines when it comes to skating, snowboarding, surfing, wakeboarding. There's always a couple of Japanese riders that are just so good, and it's cool to see that kind of follow suit after Shota being the innovator for the Japanese culture and the Japanese rider, and seeing more Japanese riders come through the ranks now. So it's really cool to see that tradition kind of follow the footsteps of Shota and like fall into all the other action sports, which is really cool.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, you know, it's funny to say, but there's a bit of a Japanese style on the water, isn't there? It seems to be a common style with our Japanese riders.
I don't know how they do it. They go in Japan or something this next year or something and kind of figure out what their trick is to kind of get a little leg everyone else. And it's not just in wakeboarding, it's in snowboarding, it's in everything. So the Japanese riders definitely have their own flair, their own style, their own way of doing stuff. So Haruki and the front mob going front flip, front side 360, coming back in straight back on his toes, going the nose grab crow mob, front flip, front side 360. That was super nice. The floaty, super slow, coming back in for his last trick, going toe side 900 and dropping from the sky again. And that is 4 solid tricks for his second pass.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. Again, that spinning style and going so big. The front mob, I tell you what, that's a little old school riding there from Haruki, a trick that sort of, we see it coming back a little bit now.
Yeah, I think it's like everyone has a way of like going away from tricks, coming back, going away. I think it's just like, that's one thing I love about wakeboarding. It's just such an expression of who you are as a person and how you like to ride and what you visualize and think is cool and what you're able to do as well. So the drawing board is unlimited, and that's why you're seeing all these guys doing. You're going to see a lot of the similar tricks, but you're also going to see stuff that is just so different from rider to rider, and that's what's so beautiful about wakeboarding.
Yeah, totally agree. Just look into that replay. That 900, holy moly.
Dude, he goes huge, eh?
Oh, that was unbelievable. That 900 at the end of Haruki's run was something absolutely incredible. Well, clearly they liked it in the boat because they're showing the replay again.
Yeah.
This is an unbelievable second pass.
Keep this thing going. It's super nice to look at. It just goes so big. Everything's super floaty. Everything's grabbed. Everything's nice and slow. Unbelievable second pass from Haruki. I like that.
Yeah, we're going to look at this one more time here, and there it is on the replay. Have a look at this here, folks, on his toe side edge, and that is 2.5 full rotations straight up and down, and just like you mentioned before, Corey, dropping out of the sky for that landing. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Yeah, one thing I just noticed on that Nautic Boats action replay just then was actually how long he took to set his axis. He was literally at his peak of his trick before he even started rotating the 900. Just goes to show how big he actually went, how much time he had to be able to rotate not only a 900, but a 900 on the way down.
Yeah. Well, folks, we are back on here, and our next rider, Jesse Mason, and he got tripped up on the big Nautique wake, and I tell you what, that won't be the start that our Australian competitor was looking for here. Jesse Mason, it looked like he was looking for maybe that batwing to blind that he does, and, got all kinds of tripped up.
Yeah, I think a lot of riders aren't used to riding such a huge wake that Nautique G23 throws. And even me sometimes, like if I'm not riding a loaded boat that's just absolutely slammed, and we show up to this event here at MOOMBA where the wave is the best pretty much at any other event, it can definitely throw you off a little bit. So Jesse getting tripped up a little bit there, taking a hard slam on his first trick there off his toe side edge. But that might teach him a little bit of a lesson to wait a little bit longer off the top of the wake, and hopefully he can pull it together for the rest of his run and utilize that wake to its potential and go as big as he possibly can.
Well, the young Aussie Jesse Mason out here. He's from all the way down in Tassie, and great to have Jesse here in another MOOMBA Masters. Of course, I think he's been at maybe 2 or 3 MOOMBA Masters so far. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge to with this caliber of riders still to come. But Jesse Mason, he's one of Australia's best, and folks, it's time to show a little Australian support here. So let's get behind Jesse Mason, your rider out here on the water. It's a very, very tough competition, and Jesse Mason now, after that first fall, back on for the rest of pass number 1.
Switching up a little bit, going for that toe side off axis 540. And he's going to call it after that and play it safe and see what he can put down in his second pass here.
Well, folks, this is last chance qualifier time, and this is our heat number 2. We've got, once again, the only Australian in this heat, Jesse Mason out here right now. He's had just that one trick in pass number 1, so he's got a lot of work to do here, folks. You're going to have to get your Australian support behind Jesse Mason as he comes through for pass number 2. Just having that quick break down at the city end, letting the wakes settle, and looks like we are almost back on here with Jesse Mason from Australia. Well, he's got a little bit of work to do, folks. We know he can do it, but he needs your support right now. Here we go with Jesse Mason, Australia's own competitor here in this LCQ number 2. Well, on his toe side edge now. And that is a very big fall to start off this pass number 2. And, well, Corey, that is his second fall here. And unfortunately for Jesse, that is going to be his whole run done.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the new hull of the North than what it used to be, and the G has always had the biggest wake that the industry have seen. And with this new hull and the new boat, like, it has really stepped up a level. And for the people that haven't ridden behind these boats a lot, they're getting caught out. They don't expect how big they are actually going. It's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, with Jesse Mason there, I mean, that was a scarecrow. It probably was meant to be a little bit out of shape up there.
Yeah, no, that's super unfortunate for Jesse, but and competing, I know, throwing a pretty bad, and he was like walking around in a brace and stuff for the rest of the event, and like couldn't ride for 6 months, and energy in the gym, rehabbing his knee, getting himself back to fit, healthy, and full strength. So even though it's not the performance that Jesse would have wanted, I think it's still a huge thing that he's like been able to make it back to this event and put in so much time in getting back to being healthy. And doing what he loves to do every day. So huge congrats to Jesse.
Yeah, it's a massive achievement from Jesse, and congratulations to him. And we love having him here at this MOOMBA Masters, competing right here on the Yarra River. But, well, Corey, I've got to mention these next three riders. I mean, this... time to get some really heavy hitters here, because these are three of the biggest names in wakeboarding, and I can't believe they're all in this LCQ. We have Ulf Ditsch, Thomas Herman, and Massimiliano Piffaretti in an LCQ here for MOOMBA Masters. Like, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen here. This is going to be insane.
Yeah, this is crazy to see, because like each of these three riders, they're not consistent finalists. They're bet on. They're making the final every single event, week in, week out, and only one's got to make it through, which is like crazy to think. And I mean, Thomas Herman literally finished second in the world last year. He's currently the second best rider in the world, going off by the rankings. So the fact that like he's in a LCQ heat with these other guys, it's so uncharacteristic, and it's like crazy to actually like watch this happen. So let's just sit back, be a fan of the sport of wakeboarding and the sport of just absolutely boosting. And Ulf unfortunately just absolutely just ripped his, or snapped his board, or ripped his board in half, or his bindings. Just goes to show that like this sport doesn't play around. This is a high impact sport, and sometimes like this does happen when you push the limits.
Have a look to the replay here. Look at
that was so sick, though.
Oh my goodness!
Can we get a like action slow mo of this? Like, how do we? Yeah, let's break this down. So Ulf just boosting, poking that melon grab the best that he possibly could, and then going backside with 80, and he literally just stopped. Well, his board stopped. He kept going. Something happened, and I mean, he got smoked, but he looked great doing it.
That right there, and thank you to our video crew for doing that for us. That is absolutely incredible. That is one of the biggest backside 180s I have ever seen, straight to the board, just blowing itself apart. Incredible stuff out here from Ulf Ditsch. He's got to be one of the most exciting riders to watch. So that is insane.
I couldn't agree more with that. I was fortunate enough to watch Ulf and his brother Kai grow up. We did a lot of riding together down in South Florida. And Ulf has always been just a hammer on the water, and he goes bigger than anyone else these days. So it's a pleasure to watch him ride, especially in contests, because you know he's going to send it as hard as he can, as he just ripped the bindings off of that Hyperlight board there. And get back out there. That was something I...
Absolutely crazy out here from Ulf Ditsch. Wow. Riding, as we mentioned, like the most exciting. I was talking to the judges after our semifinals earlier on today, and Ulf, he just landed a few tricks, but for those tricks, our judges had, plus next to them, because it is absolutely
If you look at the Nautique replay right now, you can see Ulf walking around with fiberglass from the wakeboard attached to his boots. That is next level right there.
I can honestly say I have never seen something like this happen in contest.
Wow.
Ulf Ditsch going as big as you could possibly go, and wow, his wakeboard has just not quite handled that one. That is absolutely incredible. Well, folks, I'm actually not too sure what happens here. I guess we try to find Ulf another board.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly how much time it is, but I believe each rider is allowed a couple minutes to sort it out if there's an equipment malfunction. I think it's around 3 to 5 minutes. I'm just thankful for Ulf that the board's what gave out and not his body. It's always better to have your equipment break than your needs. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can sort out Ulf's equipment situation here, and we'll be able to get him back on the water ASAP.
Yeah, well, folks, stay tuned because we'll be back in just a couple of minutes here with Ulf Ditsch and the rest of his run. After that incredible first fall, I would think we're just going to be a couple of minutes to sort out his equipment, and then you can be sure to look forward to some high-flying action here from Ulf Ditsch from Argentina, your next rider in this LCQ number 2.
myself do that. Like,
Well, folks, looks like we are back, and well, let's get the rest of this first pass going, because this right here is Ulf Ditsch rides a wakeboard like no one else in the world. And I just love that backside three right out into the flats. This is incredible here, and Ulf Ditsch doing what honestly only he does, going that big. That is insane.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Ulf just went out there on a random board that he's never ridden before, and first trick went to the flats and did a huge backside 360. And to me, that's just insane. Like, board is going to feel when you go off the wave.
Yeah, just having a look at that replay, you're and straight up and into that backside three. That is absolutely crazy scenes out here in this MOOMBA Masters LCQ.
Pretty nuts.
good on him. He's a better man than I am, that's for sure. You wouldn't even catch me going that big into the flats. I think my back and my knees and my ankles were just snapping half straight away. It's incredible how much force and how much pressure actually goes through your body when you wakeboard. It is a high impact sport. And when you get Ulf out on the water, when you take a crash like that and catch an edge going that hard, that big, that fast, it's almost like getting hit by a bus. There's so much pressure that goes through your body. And to see him literally get straight back up on a board that he has never ridden before. You guys here at MOOMBA Masters this weekend. Huge round of applause for Ulf. Absolutely sending it for you guys.
I love watching this guy ride. He just came back in, went for another massive tantrum to blind into the flats, unfortunately taking him down as he on the water. On guy is a weapon.
Talking about putting your body on the line, and well, of course, your board on the line there from Ulf Ditsch. Wow, absolutely, talk about stepping it up here. That is some incredible riding style. I mean, as you mentioned, not quite the ride he was looking for, but I reckon he takes the crowd enjoyment award in this LCQ without a doubt.
Always the biggest sender award for sure.
100%.
But moving along the riders list, we have a rider coming up. His name is Thomas Herman. Arguably, probably not arguably, the greatest modern double-up rider in the world.
Yep, no doubt about it. Absolutely. Thomas Herman, I mean, the last couple of years for Thomas, he has taken the world by storm. It is incredible what he has achieved.
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky. I've spent a lot of time with Tom. We are roommates in Orlando, so we literally spend every single day on the boat together. And Tom's story is pretty cool. The first time I ever met him, he beat me in a heat at the US Masters. Never met him before. He was just a young little cocky kid, and then came up and introduced himself to me after that. Became really good mates, and now we ride together every day. But what I'm getting at is it's been really cool to see Tom's progression through the years in the pro ranks. Every year he's managed to step up his results and slowly get better and better and better. And last year, Tom having his breakout year and finishing second, kind of just stapling himself as the second best rider in the world,
And
going
not to
off the
mention,
rankings.
last year, behind a boat on a wakeboard, as he comes in here for his third trick in his first pass with the KGB 540. Just hit 100 times this week, Corey.
It's literally his easiest trick that he can do. He can do a KGB 5 in his sleep. So super uncharacteristic fall for Tom, but we know Tom's got a lot of hammers to throw down, and there's only one rider left behind him. So Tom's got to leave everything out on the water and really throw it down if he wants to try and keep that high Yeah, so perfect. He came around and it literally just looked like the tail of his board just kind of cased the wake. It looked like he was almost going to land down the wake perfectly, and then literally the tail just clipped, and it was almost like not expecting it because it looked like he took off super well. He thought he literally had the thing done and dusted, but that's wakeboarding. If you take your if you have a slight moment of loss of concentration, it can catch you out, and it can catch you out pretty quickly. And I think we just saw a perfect example of that right then. So Tom getting back up on the water. Let's see if he can squeeze in something at the end, but kind of looks like he's just riding it out, and he's just going to go, you know what, I'm just going to go ham on the way back.
Yeah. He did get a couple of tricks. I mean, of course, he came straight back roll there, and then had that mode. So he's got a couple of tricks on the board, but these next 4 tricks, this is going to be really important here. This is going to be a very, very big finish here for Thomas.
If there's one thing that I've noticed about Tom in his competitive career, it's that he performs best under pressure. We saw him at the World Championships this past year here on the Gold Coast. He went down on his first trick on a chromobe, got back up, and just absolutely laid it down, placing second and doing a trick that had never been done before in a full contest run, the double KGB off the double up. So let's see if he can lace it together here for this second run. But like I said, as I know about Tom, it's that he performs best under pressure. So the pressure is definitely on him right now.
Yeah, let's see how the second pass goes. I was right there for those world titles, and man, that was some of the most exciting wakeboarding I have ever seen. I'm sure we are going to match it this weekend at this MOOMBA Masters. Well, here we go, folks. Thomas Herman, the superstar of wakeboarding, and straight in, and that is unbelievable scenes here. Corey, you mentioned you've seen him do that trick, the KGB 5, hundreds of times, and Thomas Herman taking him down twice in that run. That is...
That, like, we are speechless. That's literally his easiest trick. And, like, seeing it taking him down twice, like, it's weird seeing him fall on it once, but then, like, getting back up and falling on it again. Yeah, that sucks, man. That is definitely not how he would have wanted to start out his campaign for the 2025 World Tour. Thomas Herman, one of the best riders in the world, super uncharacteristic, and I know he'll be pretty upset and pretty bummed about that. Literally going off the rankings, the second best rider in the world from last year, taking an early exit out of the MOOMBA Masters here at the season opener of the World Tour. So that's definitely something I wouldn't have had on my bingo card.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Of course, Thomas has a huge supporter network from all around the world, including right here in Australia. And, wow, that is, we are heartbroken for Thomas Herman there, taking 2 falls in this last chance qualifier, and just shows you anything can happen, even with the #2 ranked rider in the world. Well, it's not done yet. We've got one rider to come, and that, of course, is all the way from Italy, Massimiliano Piffaretti. He's our last rider here off the dock, and look, what is shaping up to be just an absolute pressure cooker of an LCQ. We knew it was going to be very, very tight with these riders and this caliber of rider. Corey, I don't think any of us would have expected to see quite what we are seeing out here this afternoon.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the challenges of wakeboarding, right? You can go out and do all your stuff and be super confident and consistent at home, but when you get under the lights, under the pressure of the biggest event in the world, this stuff can happen. We start to see these cracks in these people's performances, and that's why we are seeing kind of these little slip-ups with everyone. But if we're looking back and kind of recapping the heat Haruki would be in the top spot right now. So Massi starting his run with the wrapped roller blind. He almost goes wrapped KGB and then goes, I'm going to rewind back to 180, which is super sick. Coming in, going, Massi's kind of most trick that he's most well known for, the one-handed blind Pete, coming straight back in on his toes with the switch nose grab, Crow Mob 5, and Massi on his last trick. I did not see it, but I believe, I want to say it was almost like a toe side backside 540. We'll have to check the Nautique action replay. I could be completely wrong. The crowd down at the end probably have a way better idea than I do. So let's have a look at this replay.
Yeah, hopefully the replay does come up there because it's very, very hard to see with our big crowd down here today. But what we can tell you for sure, Massi Piffaretti standing up that pass number 1. And, well, a massive start there. How about that one-handed hand drag to the blind Pete there? You're absolutely right. A trick that has kind of become synonymous with Massi's riding.
And done so clean, too.
Oh.
I mean, that was just picture perfect. That's absolutely beautiful blind Pete right there. And to come in with one hand, it's just crazy to me. Like, it takes so much strength and power. 360 all off of one hand. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Well, of course, when we want the replay, they're not going to show us here, and we're just going to call it a toe side backside 5. But honestly, folks, we don't really have too much idea. We could barely see that last trick. But Massi Piffaretti, one of the biggest names in wakeboarding. Great to have him here at this MOOMBA Masters. It was a surprise to see him in the LCQ, and this is going to be exciting here because this is pass number 2. Well, here we go. Can he get this last spot in tomorrow's final?
Massi being a veteran of the sport, I think he's going to pull it off here as he does that toe side backside 180, rewinding 180, and coming back in on his regular toe side edge now with the toe side backside 540, which means we didn't see that in his first pass, so we were wrong. He's wrapped up again on his switch toe side edge with the Tootsie. Oh my gosh, he's dragging on his stomach right now. Will he be able to get back up? Oh, he lets go just before the 3/4 buoy. Hopefully he let go in time. The boat is still going, probably contemplating whether they're going to turn around and give him another shot. It doesn't look like they're going to. That might have been the end of Massi's campaign.
Wow.
Still putting down a really, really solid run. It's going to be a tough conversation in the boat between the judges right now to see who ends up in that top spot and makes it out of this LCQ for the wakeboard finals going down tomorrow.
Well, folks, already with that wrapped up Tootsie Roll there, holding on to boy, but dragging past the 3/4 boy. Did himself a bit of an injustice there. Don't know if that is going to be enough to now get him through. Oh, well, we'll find out here, folks. The results from our heat number 1, they have come through, and it was very, very close. But the rider who does go through to tomorrow's final, well, I am pumped for him. It is Daniel Johnson out of the USA. He is the rider who gets that 1 spot in tomorrow's final. So, well, unfortunately for Frederico, Noah Bollard, Bo Wildman, and Stefano and Kai, that's going to be the end of their MOOMBA Masters campaign.
In for Daniel Johnson, the one that looked the smoothest, looked the best. The day, that's like half the job that you need to do in the LCQ is just from there. So congratulations. Dude, this could be a heater. We're looking at what some of the guys did, and I'm kind of comparing 2 people to kind of take it out. We're looking at Haruki and Massi. Both had 6 tricks. So the playing field is somewhat even when we're looking at amount of tricks that they've done. So what it's going to be is going to come down to quality versus quantity. And that is what I'm going to leave in the judges' hands. They do a lot better job than everyone else on the bank. We're fans, we're supporters. Those guys are critiquers, and they really kind of break everything down and kind of be super critical with the way that all these riders do their stuff. So I'm going to kind of say that those two guys are the front runners to kind of take out the second heat of the LCQ and punch their ticket into the way to the final. But dude, you never know. It can go any way.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough one. The judges, they will be going through those scores and each of the tricks now for each of our competitors. Well, folks, it is going to bring us to the end of our wakeboarding competition here this afternoon. And if you do want to find out which of our riders is going to go through to tomorrow's final, well, I would suggest download the Rideline app from the WWA, because that is where the results will be posted. We're going to have to hand things over to the jump team here, but Corey and Noah, man, I cannot wait to see you guys out here tomorrow in the final. It's happening at 2 p.m. and I know you guys are excited. There's a lot of people excited to see you ride against tomorrow. It's going to be a one heck of a competition.
Oh, yeah. I know that Corey and I are both super fired up to be on the water tomorrow, riding behind the biggest wake in the industry, the Nautique G23. It's on, brother. Let's get after it. Thanks for having us, Stu. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Corey. And we will see you all here tomorrow, 2 p.m. for the Pro Men's Wakeboard Final. It is going to be nothing short of incredible. And then, of course, later on that evening, we have the Pro Women's. Well, we're going to hand it over to our jump you back right here tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Okay, folks, welcome back. And we're underway in the jump event. Yeah, women's jump for the first time at the 2025 MOOMBA Masters, kicking things off. Out of the United States of America will be Cameron Waters. The first few skiers all competed in the Junior MOOMBA Masters, so they're young girls, and they've had a bit of an opportunity to have a cider on the river. But it's a warm Melbourne afternoon. Welcome to Rob Wing, joining me in the commentary box.
Yeah, thank you, Curtis. Yes, it's actually a glorious afternoon. We probably, from a jumping point of view, would love that breeze to just swing around and become a headwind, but we have what we have, and Cameron Waters opening up the account of this field. We have 10 skiers in all in this open women's jump preliminary round, 6 to advance through to the finals. So 4 will sadly leave us, and Monday afternoon the top 6 will jump off to see who can be the MOOMBA Masters champion of women's jump for 2025. And that breeze is just, it's going to be something to deal with here, Curtis, this afternoon, as I think Cameron Waters, first of our 10 jumpers coming onto course.
Yep. Promising young talent out of the United States of America, sets herself for the first of her 3 attempts here in this jumping competition. And we'll talk a little bit about the format, Rob, but each skier has 3 attempts to hit that jump ramp, and we take the longest of the 3 jumps. So it's not about consistency or anything like that. It's just whatever the longest distance you're able to clear is on your 3 attempts, that will be your score. You must, of course, ride over the jump. But it's challenging out there. I think no two. The tide is still going out. The water's flowing out to Port Phillip Bay, and that is battling against quite a strong tail breeze at time, gusts coming up at a pretty high rate of knots.
That could be the reason why Cameron actually passed that jump. Maybe the tailwind just upset her timing a little. City end, 500 and 600 feet from the jump to help you time your approach. And of course, when you practice with no breeze and you have a bit of a minor adjustments after passing up that first jump. Also, not sure if you mentioned it, but I suppose you'd say we get three approaches at the jump, and but the distance is measured, recorded, and the longest distance on the day is the winner. So great afternoon of skiing coming up. We have our women's jump event. Then we move to men's slalom LCQ and women's slalom LCQ, but we'll elaborate a little more on that as we go. And we look forward to Cameron Waters coming back and successfully going up and over that jump ramp. Now the wind, of course, wind will be probably gusting up and down throughout the afternoon. Let's hope it calms off a little bit as Cameron Waters approach number 2. Let's hope she takes it and puts a score on the board. Sits back a little on the ramp, so that loses a little bit of distance, but good to see her put a score down after passing the first. And a distance there for Cameron Waters we will bring to you as soon as it comes to hand.
Yeah, back quite a bit from some of the big distances we saw Cameron pull out in junior MOOMBA, struggling with timing, I think. Ending up a little early and, like you said, Rob, back on the heels. So just up in the low 30s, 33.2 meters from Cameron. She's capable of a lot more, though. She's got a lot of talent, this young lady, the American. Can push up close to 40 meters. Now, in the conditions, Rob, we're not expecting these girls to be up around personal best. You've got to play to the conditions. It's sort of, you know, think of a footy game on a heavy rain night. It's a low-scoring affair, usually, a lot of drop balls. It's sort of similar out there on the water. We get that strong wind, and the scores will come down just a little bit, but it will still be a fiercely competitive field.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because the top 6 will go through to the final. And of course, folks, in between events, don't forget our merchandising tent will probably you probably have a bit of a mental note of where we are or where the judges are. Well, just behind the judges, in between the judges area and where all the rides and food outlets are, we have official MOOMBA merchandise for 2025. T-shirts, $25. We have wind cheaters, polo shirts, a nifty little waterproof bag that you can use as a backpack with the MOOMBA logo on it. It's all there. It's a merchandise, so make sure you get out and check it out.
Absolutely. Now the American has one last attempt. Wants to push up to the big score she's well and truly capable of. This is late air from Cameron Waters. She's got the speed. Better lift off the top. Presses forward. A much better jump from her. considering how challenging those conditions are,
Yeah,
Rob,
they
it's
look
not
good.
going to be a 40-metre jump from her, but I think that's a really good effort.
She looked very solid in the air, and as is always the case in, well, I guess MOOMBA being located where it is, there's a lot of buildings around, wind can funnel through. If we're looking at the flags directly in front of the broadcast point, we've actually got a bit of a headwind. The Roswell flags are blowing sideways. The Nautique flags are blowing a little bit in another direction, but it's not impossible that the wind's actually just drifting around to more of a headwind. And let's hope that is the case, because it's more favourable for our jumpers throughout the afternoon to be jumping into a headwind. 39.6, I'm not sure if you'd mentioned that, but Curtis, but 39.6. That is more like the place where she would like to be, as Zali Reeves from Australia heads down to the city end. Our next competitor.
Yeah, what a promising young talent Zali Reeves is. Yet another of to produce over the years. And Zali just, what's Zali, 14, 15 years of age? And out here competing, looking for a finals berth. And the way she jumped at Junior MOOMBA, if she can push up around sort of 42 metres, I think she's a really good chance at making that final, Rob.
Yeah, well, third in the under-17 Worlds with a PB at that time of around about 5 metres. But since then, which I think was last July, she's now has a PB. I think she set a PB in Junior MOOMBA, which now I'm going on memory, but it could be around about 43 metres. So she could be very competitive in this event. Zali Reeves from Queensland, Australia. Once again, the wind's kind of done a 360, well, done a 180, so it just kind of, it's a bit hard to pick really, as the wind just doesn't really itself know what to do. But bring her on, Curtis. Zali Reeves, Australia.
The young Queenslander looking to make her mark amongst the pros. Turn, sets herself for the ramp. She'll drive hard off the top of the ramp. It's a good opening jump from Zali, up in the mid-30s. Actually, probably earlier than we've seen her go throughout a lot of the tournament. But a great, tidy opening jump for the young lady. Youngest skier in this field.
Yeah, good opening jump. Look, I think there's minor things you could say to critique what happened on the ramp there. However, her dad, Scott, an open men's jumper who we saw in the preliminary round of men's open jump into the high 50s, no doubt.
Friday night jump champion, Scotty Reeves down there on the dock.
Passing on his vast experience to daughter Zali Reeves as she skis back down towards the city end to come back for jump number 2 and an opening jump of 38 metres.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that actually ended up further than I had expected. It just shows you how easy she did it. It was a beautiful jump. Like she wasn't expending too much energy, and she has, like we said, been jumping up in the low 40s, which is probably where the cut to make the final is going to be, especially considering the challenging conditions we have out here. But I was talking, Rob, a little bit, of course, about the long line of great female Aussie jumpers. Well, it's sort of weird here to have MOOMBA Masters jump, and no, Jacinta Carroll, of course, retired at last year's event. Won, was it 10 or 11 consecutive MOOMBA Masters jump titles. She's been a fixture on top of the podium. So there's a whole generation of young ladies here chasing, for the first time, a MOOMBA Masters jump title.
Yeah, look, Jacinta, absolutely a wonderful champion in women's jump. Look, I don't know how many MOOMBAs she won, either 10 or 11, but she nearly won them all in a row. She lost one during that period of over the last 10 or 11 years before her retirement. Okay, Zali Reeves comes back from the city end. Can she increase on that 38? She's looking to go into the 40s. Is Zali Reeves. Plenty of power into the base, and not too bad a lift from the jump there, but maybe she could get a little more out of it.
I thought she was setting up for an even further jump, but I think she actually just ended up the last second slightly early. She stood up right in the base of the ramp and lost a little bit of distance. And it is further. She's eked out more, but she hasn't quite found the big cut she's looking for. So there will be some adjustments. Friday night jump champion Scotty Reeves telling her to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, so after the first jump, he was telling her to try and get a little bit wider, and I think he's telling her to bring it down off that 500 or 600 to.
It's
start
tough
a
to
bit
keep
later.
speed out there with the head current, so you do have to make some adjustments to your timing to carry a lot of speed through the turn. But super promising young talent out of Queensland. Zali Reeves competing here up against the professionals. And if she can pull off a big jump on her third and final attempt, she may just throw her name in the hat of someone who could push for a finals berth. How cool would that be to see Zali Reeves through to MOOMBA Monday? A lot of talent left to come, though. That cut I'm picking is going to be somewhere in the low 40s.
Absolutely, would be a dream come true if Zali could make it through to the MOOMBA Monday, MOOMBA afternoon finals. Pushes out now. See if she's taken that advice on board from Dad Scotty Reeves. Turns, looks like she's turned a pretty good spot. She's low and pushes hard into the base of the ramp, but she's on her heels. Well, I think I saw her dad do a similar thing in the elimination round, back and having the skis sort of out from under her, but got the skis back underneath and landed on the skis. And nice and safe landing compared to what actually could have been. So 38.8 will be her longest. And don't forget, folks, one of our sponsors, Visit Denny. That means go to Deniliquin and have a good look around, particularly long weekend in October when the Denny muster is on. But the Visit Denny people are running a competition. Count how many lollies are in the big jar. And great prizes on offer. That's at the Visit Denny tent at, I'm not sure what, at the Swan Street Bridge end of the site. Just seeing Zali land there and safely sliding to a stop as we introduce Christy Appleton from Queensland, Australia.
What a talent. Christy Appleton is, of course, the reigning junior world overall champion and took out the MOOMBA Masters jump title earlier this week. Had a huge jump up over 46 meters. And she's a real shot to make this jump final if she can find some of that distance she had on Thursday and Friday. Incredible talent out of Queensland. In fact, we got 3 Queenslanders in this field.
Now, first 3 jumpers, Christy Appleton included, are jumping on a 1.5 metre height ramp, the 5-foot ramp. Then it's going to wind up to 5.6, which the girls haven't got to 5.6. It does help them a little bit. Because you've got the same length of ramp, but the gradient increases because the height of the ramp goes up to 1.65 metres or 5 feet 6 in height. So the rest of our field after Christy will be jumping at 5'6".
Yep, coming into course now. Christy Appleton, junior MOOMBA champion, reigning junior world overall champion, and a name to watch in professional women's jump in years to come. Turns, sets herself up for her first attempt. She's got a good deal of speed, comes off the top. Good jump, Rob. Could that be our first 40-metre jump?
Well, based on what she did in the under-17s, the junior MOOMBA competition, it may well be, but it was a good-looking opening leap nonetheless for Christy Appleton. Well, we have cracked the 40 on the opening jump, 40.9, because after Sadi Ferguson, the Aussie, the fellow Queenslander jumps, we will have some sort of a cut line or a bubble to see what you actually need to do to ensure yourself a place in the final.
Yeah, I think that's really impressive jumping from, well, really all 3 of these girls so far, because the conditions are pretty tough out there. That's a strong breeze. It's funneling through. It's spinning around. It's sort of a different direction, changing by the second. And I think it's going to be very tough out there to find your timing. And the skiers are going to be perhaps a little bit conservative the way they hit the ramp. They want to make sure they're in very strong body position off the top of the ramp, very still, to sort of handle whatever the Yarra River throws at them wind-wise off the top of the ramp, because it's challenging right now.
But look, challenging, but they're dealing with it so well. They're looking good, the girls, which is all credit to them. Hopefully the rest of the field can do the same.
Well, that's why they're the best of the best, aren't they, Rob? The professionals. They can handle all sorts of conditions. As we get ready for Christy Appleton to return, the DeWalt guaranteed tough ski nautique towboat roars into course. The Queenslander in the lead. She won't feel comfortable yet, though. She wants a couple more meters out here. Christy turns, sets herself now. She's building, accelerating, not happy with that one.
Tripped up a little bit through the wake, so instantly heart in the mouth that would have popped the handle longer. So Christy Appleton, a little bit of a nervy situation through the wakes, but did the right thing and comfortably and happily gliding around that
so
GM Marine.
Let's talk a minute about ramp. The state of Queensland, which I'm starting to think, is that the right now? Because this is up there in Queensland. And look at the young talents coming through out of Queensland. Zali Reeves, Christy Appleton, Sadi Ferguson.
Bruce and Tony Neville live up there.
What's it? You add Tony Neville to the mix?
Yeah.
I mean, be tough to find a region with that sort of population, that small, with that much women's jump talent, living in it, coming out of it, the coaching that's available. Incredible, really.
Well, nowhere else really comes to mind, does it? Anywhere in the world, I don't know what's going on. There's the Florida population's a lot bigger than the Queensland population, so I don't know if it'd really be interesting to see a power to weight ratio on that one.
The place to be for women's jumpers, Queensland and Australia. Well, right now the place to be is the Yarra River here in the beautiful city of Melbourne. As the Black Swan comes down to say hello. Do you think it's been the same swan all week, Rob, that's been coming? Oh, there's two swans.
Well, look, I think it has been because...
it's found a friend.
It's black with a red beak, so it definitely looks the same. Yeah, but now there's two of them. I'm sort of second-guessing myself. All right, so Christy Appleton.
Yep, third and final jump as she cuts across from the Alexander Park Garden side. Sets herself. This is later here from Christy. She's going to have all kinds of speed. Can she hold that one? No, she broke at the waist again. The safe thing to do there was let go. That would not have ended well, but she'll feel like she's left the door open with 40.9. She's a much better jumper than that. Just shows how challenging these conditions are.
Unfortunately, she's going to have to be happy with the 40.9. Would have definitely liked more. Well, she achieved more in Junior Moomba, the under-17s event during the week, but wasn't to be in this first round of Open Women's Jump preliminary round. 10 competitors, 4 will leave us, 6 will move through to the final. Yeah, as you mentioned, this is the place to be, MOOMBA Masters 2025. We're looking at day 2, and then tomorrow we'll be holding all our finals, trick, slalom, jump and wakeboard. Watching the women's jump at the moment, but gee, there's some fantastic slalom events still to come throughout the afternoon, and of course a very exciting night jump. Throw a couple of ski shows into the mix, and we have a full day's entertainment right here, right now on the Yarra River.
Yeah, well, heading down the river right now, our next competitor out of Great Britain, Sanchia Outram. Incredibly talented young skier, of course from Great Britain, but has been living and residing, training in New Zealand for the past, 3 or 4 years. So, I'm sure a lot of Kiwi fans will be excited to see how Sanch goes out there. And hopefully she's got some family and friends back home in Great Britain tuning in. It's probably getting fairly late in Great Britain. But if you stuck around to watch Sanch ski, we wish her well. As we raise the ramp height, of course, the first 3 girls at the lower ramp height that we have the juniors jump at. But we're going to steepen that ramp up. If it didn't look scary enough out there, we're going for a steeper angle on the ramp. So, Rob, Sanch coming in, jump number 1.
Sanchia Outram. from the city end pulls out. Let's see how she can deal with this little breeze. Maybe it isn't affecting them too much, but edges in, pushes hard. Not a bad setup there. Comes off the top of the ramp there. There was a little, I sort of overheard Glenn Williams going, "Woohoo," and I just kind of had the same feeling myself. Just kind of a little forward off the top of the ramp, but never really an issue or never in danger in the end. But fairly early conservative start. Up and over in an opening jump of 36.2 for Sanchia Outram.
Yeah, she'll make some adjustments. Obviously needs to get herself a little bit later so she can generate more speed. Of course, the boat is traveling at a fixed speed for all these ladies at 54 kilometers per hour. And the way that you jump far is to generate more speed in the boat. That's why they cut back and forth, generating that pendulum effect. Because they're traveling over more distance than the boat is, they can, on a particularly strong and late cut, get to speeds up to double the boat speed, starting to push up around 100 kilometers per hour. And that's what we're looking for. Sanch there, because she didn't have a lot of angle, was relatively early cut, as we'd call it. Was probably only going about pedestrian 75 or something like that.
Yeah, she's definitely, to go into that 40 metres that we're predicting that the place she needs to be, she's going to have to bring that cut down and generate a bit more speed. However, she's gone out there, she's put one on the board, she has a score, she has 2 more jumps to come, so you can just put that one down to experience, use it as a bit of a feeler for how the site feels, and start to get down to business on jump number 2. Pulls out nice and wide. This is a little bit later. I think it's reasonably a bit later. Gets some speed there and better lift this time. She's going to add a couple of metres to the distance, I would think, on that opening jump.
Much better jump, Rob. I think she's
40,
challenging the lead.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought that was a really good jump from Sanch. The lead, of course, 40.9. Maybe I'm being a one-eyed biased Kiwi fan because we're claiming her, but no, 42.1 metres. Sanchia Outram takes the lead. It's a beautiful jump. And, you know, we talked about how challenging the conditions are, but that jump from Sanch, Rob, close to a personal best.
Yeah,
so
well, I was second-guessing myself about the distance, but you've certainly been vindicated with thinking she was going to go into the lead. She has 42.1.
Of course, critically, like you've pointed out, Rob, with Sanch out here, the 4th skier, 10 skiers in the field. After Sanch, we know what the mark is to make the final. So as of right now, it's 42.1. Our top 6 seeds are chasing, which is no foregone conclusion. But for Sanch to have a shot at making the final, she would maybe just a little bit more. She'd feel a little more comfortable. Yep. 42.1 will be a nervous weight. It's a great jump from her. Beautiful. Like the way she came off that ramp, such great lift, extension.
Yeah, well, of course, the further you jump, the more comfortable I guess you'd be feeling in terms of what the other girls need to do. But she'll be sitting there wishing and hoping that nobody beats her longest. And at the moment, her longest is 42.1. However, she now has one more attempt to try and improve on that distance.
Okay, the Brit, 3rd and final attempt. A huge jump on jump number 2. Looking for a finals berth, and unfortunately, her timing was all off there, and she has balked on jump number 3. And 42.1 will remain her biggest. A little bit of a bizarre end of the set, but whatever way you cut it, that's a really good performance from Sanchia Outram out here on the Yarra in challenging conditions.
Yeah, just try and have a look at the replay and see if we can pick something up. Now they're asking, the question was...
Okay,
okay.
Well, actually, what's happened here is that Sanch is a nature lover, Rob, and she's a big bird enthusiast, and she saw that she was in danger of running over a swan there as she turned from the GM Marine Tower, approaching the ramp, and being a conscientious young lady, she instead decided to swerve, miss the swan, and she will get a re-ride on that jump. So, good to see.
Back in my day, we would have just taken the swan out. Rowdy, warm up, Rowdy. You're coming off the bench, mate.
All right, so they're just... So the swans are cruising around somewhere. I'm not sure where they are, but they're just seeing how they go and make sure that we don't want to just go through their paces and drift off downstream somewhere. I mean, it's not the first time we've had swans on the Yarra in the middle of a course. I remember in slalom, swan just near buoy 2 and the skier going around. And I'd probably spraying the swan and kind of put the skier off a bit, but don't know what the swan thought of it, but...
So just a brief delay while we corral the swan, who's hanging out. I guess the swan may be a water ski fan trying to get the best possible view of the jump event. It is a great place. My favourite place to watch jump is standing right next to that GM Marine Tower, Rob, because you get such a good view of the skier from the turn to the ramp. It's a valuable piece of real estate as we move to the jump event. And the swan has good taste, I think, in locations.
Well, yeah, because down there, from there, it's the swan's certainly got the bird's eye view.
Yes, you could say that.
Well, I think I just did. Pretty glad that that joke presented itself at the time it did, really. There's nothing else going on at the moment. We're just moving the swan.
Be the opening act at the Crown Casino before the weekend's over. Rob, you keep this up?
Okay, well, it looks like swans are now safely somewhere. And here comes
Sanchia. Yep, third and final attempt. Great set from her. 42.1 is going to remain her biggest. I think just ended up a little bit early there again on her third and final, but that's a really good effort from her. It's the sort of score it may end up being where she just narrowly misses out on the final. Of course, the next 6 girls are all, well, capable of jumping much further than that, but considering the challenging conditions out here during this women's jump prelim, I think Sanchia's done very well. She finishes with another 40-metre effort, but great work from the Brit.
And to the rest of the ladies, I don't think they need me to tell them, but 42.2 and above ensures a place in the final.
Yeah, well, and we'd love to get a little bit of crowd engagement and support because we've got 6 more skiers, but we've only got 1 more Australian, and we would love to see her through to the final. She's a real class act out of Queensland, former Junior World Jump Champion. Let's give a big, warm Melbourne welcome to Sadi Ferguson.
Yes, well, it goes without saying that she's from Queensland because, as you know, in the Australian government's had a reassignment program that any potential female jumper gets moved from wherever they live and transported to Queensland. I've just found that out from the Department of Foreign Affairs, who don't have anything to do with immigration, but you know, let's just leave it at that. So Sadi Ferguson jumping off the 1.65 ramp height. She knows exactly what she needs to do, so when she sees those distances come through on Splash Eye, and they're actually illuminated in the boat at a location that the skiers can see them, anything over 42.1, and she'll be pretty satisfied that she'll be through to the finals on Monday afternoon.
Yep, I'm seeing the DeWalt Guarantee Tough Towboat coming now from the city end as Sadi Ferguson lines up for the first of her 3 attempts. Needs 42.1 metres to make it through to tomorrow's finals. She's a class act, though, capable of jumping that and more. This is late to start here from the Aussie. Drives in the base of the ramp, off the top, back a little on her lift. That's going to be close, Rob. It's right up around that low 40s mark. Possibly enough on jump number 1, although I think she's going to be just shy.
Look, I'm not sure how I have got my eye in today or not, but I'm thinking it's maybe not quite far enough. 40.4 comes through, so it's just a little shy of where she needs to be. But she lost a couple of metres on the ramp, I would think, by just being a little on her heels. So definitely has the potential to go over that 42.1.
It's tough, obviously, standing there on the dock. You see the wind funneling through. The flags seem to be blowing a different direction every time you look up at them. And I think a lot of these girls are taking it pretty easy on jump number 1, just to feel out the conditions. and they'll make some adjustments, obviously, as their set goes on. That's why they have the 3 jumps, to keep it safe out there and to get the maximum possible distance. Sadi, fairly confident that she will find a way to eke out the extra couple meters she needs.
Look, I'm pretty confident too, but it still needs to be done on the day, and you only get 3 shots at it. She has 2 left, but a 40.4 on the board, so she's had a feel for the conditions. Down at the city end, she's obviously having a fair bit of a think about what she's going to do on the next jump. She knows she only has to pick up 2 additional meters over that opening jump to ensure herself a place in the final. So hopefully she'll put it together on her second of 3.
Yeah, real tough, tenacious competitor as we see her cut across the Alexander Park Garden side. Won a junior world title and jump at only about 15 years of age. Here she goes. Building now, accelerating off the top of the ramp, back on her heels again, but that, I think, Rob, should be enough.
Well, she might have, look, I'm still not convinced it's enough, but I think she's definitely picked up a little bit of time, a little bit of distance. It's going to be close. I'm picking it could be extremely close, or she might have just, 41.5. Well, she's 0.6 of a metre shy, and I'm thinking that she was still a little on her heels, which I think you mentioned as she came off the top of the ramp. But 41.5, it's heart in the mouth stuff for Sadi Ferguson.
Yeah, so Sadi at 15 years of age won a junior world title and jump. Unfortunately, had a series of injuries that have held her back a little bit, I think, particularly in the jump event. And you see that she's got her knees are heavily strapped, or she's got these sort of bionic knees almost out there. And it's great to see her out here competing in jump, and we know she's capable of some really big jumps. I've seen her jump up in the high 40s on a number of occasions. But it just kind of speaks to the toll that water ski jumping can often take on your body. It's not a sport for the faint of heart. So pressure mounting, Rob. One more jump to come for Sadi Ferguson. As of right now, she is not in the women's jump final. That would be a bit of an upset, but Sanchia Outram has gone out there and posted a healthy score to chase.
Yep, she's put the 1 on the board. It's, the 42.1 is the mark. All right, Sadi Ferguson. Last roll of the dice here. Pulls out wide, turns, now pushes hard on that right ski, powers in, low centre of gravity, misses a kick, a fair bit. Oh, it's going to be... Oh, look, she might have just picked up another metre or so. Wow, this is going to be close.
It's crazy because there was all sorts that didn't go right on that jump, but she had enough speed.
Yep, speed, and
she may have just picked off Sanchia Outram.
Oh, the operative word is may. 42.5. Well, by 0.4 of a metre, it's a welcome to Sadi Ferguson to Monday afternoon's final of MOOMBA Masters Women's Jump for 2025. Well, she kept it pretty exciting. As you mentioned, there's a couple of things that went wrong on that last jump, but managed to sail the distance she needed to, and 42.5, and Sadi Ferguson is in the final.
Okay, well, for the first time on the Yarra River, let's give a big warm welcome out of Austria to Lily Steiner. And it is the first time on the river. She was scheduled to slalom yesterday, Rob, but unfortunately, a bit of a mix-up. She slept through her ride. So she took it with a bit of a grin, a smile. She's here to jump primarily, but...
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, with some jet lag and you travel from Europe and next thing you know, you just sleep an extra couple of hours and you come to the Yarra and you should have slalomed about an hour earlier.
Yeah, Lily, a very strong jumper and a pretty strong overall skier as well. At the University World Championships last week, Rob, she picked up 2 silver medals, 1 in jump, 1 in overall. And, of course, was a crucial part of Team Austria's shock victory, winning the team's title there in Auckland, taking down the United States of America and Australia. So She's a great young talent with a bright future ahead of her. Lily Steiner coming in for the first of her 3 attempts. Always a tough thing, Rob. Yeah. First time ever on the Yarra River.
Absolutely. Have you mentioned to any Austrians that it was a shock victory, or you sort of haven't got around to that? All right, Lily Steiner. Opening jump. First time on the Yarra. Lots to think about, lots to feel, lots to work out as she turns fairly early, just pushing in now. This will be a bit of a feeler of an opening jump. Didn't have much speed and load. Good lift and position and style through the air, though. But she's going to have to bring that cut down quite a bit, which I'm sure she will. Let's call that. Surely cut a little bit longer. Actually, considering that approach, I'm thinking that 37.9 is a pretty good distance with the speed that she probably had.
Yeah, look, just got the timing all wrong there. Maybe it was a strategic play from her, Rob. First ever time on the Yarra River. Just wanted to get a bit of a sider. Shows her technique, though. The fact that from that early of a cut, she had, she hardly any speed there coming the ramp. Yeah. She was almost just gently drifting into the ramp, but beautiful ramp work. She kind of off the top of the ramp got her skis up at the perfect angle. The skiers are looking to sort of get themselves at an angle that's similar to an airplane wing taking off, so they can sort of keep riding up and up off the top of the ramp and get the maximum distance. So beautiful jump technique, Lily, and from that long line of great jumpers out of Austria, of course, Franzi Oberleitner back in the day.
I was thinking of Franz Oberleitner.
Britta Llewellyn.
Yep.
Claudia Kostenberger, Luca Rockenwald, who's here. Many others I'm forgetting or not naming right now, but Austria, it's a pretty small country, seems to have this ability to produce fantastic water ski jumpers. So Lily, let's see if she can make the necessary adjustments. Rob, she's going to need to bring it down quite a ways as she heads out now. Will she wait past the GM Marine Tower? This is a much better spot here from Lily. She's going to have all the speed she needs. Comes off the top of the ramp. Punch her ticket through to the women's jump final. Your new leader. What a jump from Lily Steiner.
Well, she felt the conditions on the first and then took our advice with cutting quite a bit later, having a fair bit more speed, but still maintained that perfect form. Beautiful float through the air and jumping. I was about to say up around 45 metres as the distance is posted at 46.1 metres.
Yeah, look, I think conditions are starting to improve a little bit out there, Rob. That wind, it's still there and it's still variable, but it seems to have just backed off in strength a little bit, which the jumpers will take great heart in seeing.
Look, they do seem to improve as they get better, don't they? So it's great to see that happening on the Yarra.
The other thing I think is that we're probably getting fairly close to low tide here, and the current is starting just to back off in strength a bit. So I think as this event goes on, we should see better and better conditions, and our top seeds have some serious talent, and they will take advantage of that. And we'll start to see jumps up in the high 40s, potentially even up over 50 metres from these girls.
Well, one of our favourite subjects, the current. The water doesn't seem to be moving too quickly at the moment. And remember, we have LCQ slalom, men's and women's, coming up after jump, so could help for us to achieve some pretty good slalom scores.
Right, third and final jump now from Lily Steiner. She's in the lead, and she's having some fun out there. This is a touch earlier from Lily, just driving now off the ramp. Beautiful float. Won't be quite as far, Rob. So, well, all 3 jumps, great lift, really just floating through the air. But the second jump with the speed, that will remain her longest.
Yep, I'm going to say quite a bit, not as far, but that's merely academic because she has 46.1 on the board. And 41.4 is her.
Okay, so we've got 2 finalists through to Monday already. Sadi Ferguson of Australia and Lily Steiner of Austria. We've got our 4 top seeds still to come. And next up, all the way out of Chile, let's make her feel welcome. It is Valentina Gonzalez. Valentina, Rob, former under-21 world jump champion. A number of years ago now. And she's someone who's been pretty consistently sitting in sort of the top 5 in the world over the past couple seasons. Travels to pretty much every professional jump tournament there is. She's pretty keen, hanging out on the pro circuit. And she's always there or thereabouts, but often struggles to crack into that sort of top 3 podium position. And could this be her year, the breakout year for Valentina, who had such success as a junior, is doing really well in the pro ranks, but probably is just short of where she'd like to be at a lot of these events.
Yeah, but of course, given her ranking and seeding, we definitely looking at potential to start to nudge it up to around the 48 to 50 metre mark that we're looking to see our top seeds achieve. So Valentina Gonzalez will be interesting to see what she does on this set, considering Lily Steiner jumping 46.1 and thinking that Valentina Gonzalez can probably, or has the ability to go just a little further.
Yeah, she has the Chilean jump record, or she's been trading that back and forth with Agustina Varas, and it's in excess of 50 metres. I'm not sure exactly where it is right now, but here she comes. First jump of the 2025 MOOMBA Masters. Going for a narrow two-handed three-quarter to open things up is Valentina. A little bit similar to Lily, Rob. That's really just a sider for her, just trying to get a score on the board. And it's not going to be a very big one. That looked to be just a shade over 30 metres.
Yeah. Look, as far as getting a score on the board, it's got to be just to feel the conditions, because the score she's going to get is not going to be of too much use for her, because it's going to get her nowhere near getting into the finals. But she can just get the feel for how it is out there, and even be feeling the conditions in the water while she's skiing back to the city end. But she's going to have to get a little bit serious now and get wider, bring it down, get some speed, and really get down to business in this women's jump preliminary round.
Yep, so sider done, and we expect to see Valentina do a full double cut here on her last 2 attempts, knowing she's chasing, like you said, Rob, 42.1 metres to make it through to the women's jump final, which is no easy feat. And she certainly isn't going to get there with conservative approaches like that.
No, there's got to be something in that.
Look, it's huge for your confidence just to get that one right over the ramp. Of course, there's no practice here. Nobody ever gets to practice on the Yarra River. You rock up in the tournament and it's go time. So any moment now, looks like we have Valentina sticking with the three-quarter, but looks to be a lot wider as she pulls out to the Alexander Park Garden side.
She'll have to go wider and later. Well, it's not that late, really. I don't think she's going to have the speed to go where she needs to go. That's nowhere near where she needs to be. So we're just sitting here sort of calling it as we see it, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting.
She might have picked up a couple of metres. She might go 35, but she should be trying to get a place in the finals. She's gifting something possibly to Sanchia Outram.
Must be something going on that we're not aware of, Rob. I don't know if she's coming back from an injury or a bad crash or something. She's short on confidence. Maybe he's been short on water time, but it's not so much the result that is surprising me. It's the approach itself, because I just don't think with a cut like that she's going to get anywhere near the 42.1 metres she needs.
No. Well, I was thinking about it as she came off the second wake. I thought, well, she's not going to go 40 on that. Glenn Williams next to me said that he was very confused, but
that's pretty normal for him,
yeah, look, I think I'll ignore that, because I've seen him confused quite a bit, and it's really not very different to any other minute of the day.
Well, this is somewhat perplexing, and obviously has come into this tournament, you'd expect, Rob, with not quite the preparation she wanted, whether through injury or maybe a crash or something like that, affecting her psychologically. But as of right now, Valentina Gonzalez is not going to be one of the favorites. Like I said, she's been consistently among the top 5 professional women's jumpers in the world over the past couple seasons. Former under-21 world jump champion. Right now is not looking like she's going to be making her way through to the final. And that's a real shame.
But we don't know. It's a bit of a mystery bag, the old jump number 3, so see what she does. And interesting to see, Curtis, where she turns. Yep, nice and early. Plenty of time to get onto the ramp. Not a whole heap of speed, and, well...
I think it might be a longer jump.
Yeah.
Pushing 36. Up in perhaps the high 30s, but it will not be enough, and that means that Sanchia Outram of Great Britain will join Lily Steiner and Sadi Ferguson in the women's jump final. And, that's a real shame, because I'm a big fan of Valet, and I was excited to watch her jump in the final tomorrow. And so all of a sudden, it is Christy Appleton who sits on the bubble. That's the score to beat. These next 3 women, though, you'd expect to jump well in excess of that, because they're some of the real rock stars of world jumping. And so excited to have back here after she had such a fun trip, I think, last year. Out of the United States of America, one of the greatest water skiers of all time, Regina Jaquess.
Well, really, so we have on the bubble at 40.9. If Regina, actually Britney Wharton I don't know much about, then Ellie Deniskaya, if they don't go over that required distance, look, can you call a medical 10? I'll be in a state of shock.
Yeah, I know.
They can pump me with whatever that insulin, well, probably not insulin.
So Regina Jaquess, I mean, where do you start with her? She world record holder in women's slalom, greatest women's slalomer of all time. She's won something like 9 or 10 world championships golds. Would have to be up there as one of the most decorated in the history of our sport across slalom and overall.
Defending MOOMBA Masters slalom champion.
Yep.
She's in the LCQ, I think, this afternoon.
She's going to be in that blockbuster women's slalom LCQ. You do not want to miss that. But real strong jumper as well. She has in the past gone as far as, I think, the mid-50s, and pretty consistently jumps in that sort of low 50 range.
I got a feeling last year she was over 50 metres here at last year's MOOMBA Masters. So.
She put a bit of pressure on the great Jacinta Carroll. So Regina, looks like she's going to be starting with a 3/4 cut as well, coming, of course, out of the North American winter. But this is fairly late and wide, the one-handed turn. She's going to have a good deal of speed here to start. Does the American.
Ooh.
Slips back on her heels. But that's a much more aggressive approach. That's more like it, Rob.
Yeah, but that's okay, because she just working out the cut. She'll probably be happy with where she started, happy with the speed. Just didn't quite handle it on the ramp, but really 2 more jumps to come. And if she has that same approach, there is no doubt that if she can keep that going, she'll make her way through to the final. I mean, she probably had to lose with that slip up on the ramp a minimum of 10 metres plus, and she's jumped 35.7, so...
Yeah, I agree with that analysis, Rob.
I'm backing her in. I'm prepared to apologise at the end, but I don't think I will be.
Regina was here last year, but for the first time on the Yarra River, we can introduce her as a Team Nautique athlete, of course. Signed with Team Nautique last year. And she'll be loving that DeWalt Guarantee Tough Towboat. The feedback from the juniors, from the men, has been that it is a very strong boat. Of course, we saw the men's jump incredible distances, and obviously haven't had a chance to get feedback from our pro woman yet, but so far we've seen some pretty good results. Lily Steiner had a great jump in the lead, 46.1 metres. Sanchia Outram from Great Britain, close to a personal best, which is incredible really when you consider that these conditions are not ideal. We've got at times a fairly strong tailwind, the current has sort of backed off. There's really not much current to speak of now. We're pretty much at low tide, Rob. But either way, it's not easy out there as Regina sets up for the second of her 3 attempts.
Yep. Okay, what can she do this time? Well, she just has to turn in about the same spot, but see if she can work that ramp as she turns now in about the same spot. So she's going to have a mile of speed. She pushes in hard. Good lift this time, floats through, and I'm pretty sure that that has booked her a spot in the finals come Monday afternoon. Well, we'll wait till Splash Eye.
Yeah, well, it's going to be close to the lead, Rob. She's well and truly in the finals.
Yeah.
She may be challenging the leader, Lily Steiner. That was up in the mid to high 40s, 47.2. Regina Jaquess well and truly into the final. Great work from the veteran.
Oh, we can say new leader, which is has a nice ring to it. And I was thinking before, just when we were talking conditions, like literally a minute ago, that the wind might not be really doing too much, and it's just come up a little bit. It's just up and down, and it's just kind of hard to work out, really, but can be deceiving with, depending on the wind direction, how it funnels through those tall buildings in the city and makes its way to the Yarra River. It's taken the edge off the rather warm day, which is nice. Very pleasant on the banks of the Yarra if you're just arriving. A big hello, a big welcome. Hope you're enjoying the show, MOOMBA Masters 2025.
It's beautiful for viewing now. Of course, we've got that afternoon shade here on the southern side of the river and the breeze coming through. And you're witnessing the best women's water ski jumpers in the world battling out here for a berth in the finals. Regina Jaquess, many time world champion, current world record holder in women's slalom. She's through to the jump final. She's got one more attempt to come though, and would love to push up close to 50 meters, build a little confidence going in to tomorrow afternoon's finals. She pulls out now, waits as late as she dare. She turns past the GM Marine Tower, drives now onto the base of the ramp, lets that one go, skis her around. Looked like she just broke forward a touch out of the turn, Rob.
Yeah, well, she certainly doesn't need to do anything silly because she's in the final of 47.2. Congratulations, Regina, for that. And her final jump, a pass. And but congratulations, she's through to the final. Now we move to Britney Wharton from United States of America.
Yeah, Britney's first visit to the MOOMBA Masters. I was surprised to hear that. Somebody of her caliber, but of course living in North America out of Arkansas, it's tough to train through the winter and make it down here in early March for a tournament. We're looking forward to seeing her debut here on the Yarra River.
Plus, it's a bit of a hike from the USA to Australia as well, so it's a bit of a commitment, some expense involved, and obviously there is prize money at the MOOMBA Masters, but great to see Britney Wharton down here from the USA, and a big Melbourne welcome to the young American.
One of those girls that when she gets it together has jumped in excess of 55 meters, I think. Been a regular on the professional circuit for many years, although probably less so over the past few years. She's had a run of bad injuries, but in 2024 she had a really great comeback season, and I think she was on the podium of pretty much every professional event she entered throughout the year.
Yeah, well, she's not second top seed for nothing.
Exactly. So it's really great to see Britney back fighting fit down here at the MOOMBA Masters for the first time. She's a dietitian. It's a full-time job, but still finds time to train and the jump event. She's made the trip down here with her mother Jane, a super talented skier in her own right. So here we go, Britney Wharton from the city end for the very first time. Pulls out wide here to the Alexander Park Garden side, a full double cut from the American. How will she handle the Yarra River as she drives now into the base of the ramp? Beautiful lift. Punch her ticket through the final, Rob Wing. That's a pretty good first up effort on the Yarra River.
Great effort. pretty controlled cut. I mean, it was late, but she was definitely didn't get too carried away. On in plenty of time, plenty of power, and some good air form too. 43.7. Well, a thoroughly deserved place in the final, so good on Britney for that opening jump of 43.7.
It's a real pressure release, I think, for the skiers coming here for the very first time. You know, you hear all sorts of horror stories about the Yarra River and what the conditions might throw at you. But I think particularly in the jump event, there aren't too many demons out there. It is a great place to jump. We've got a really strong boat. It's a fantastic ramp. And the jump event, I mean, we've seen world records here in the past. We saw the men jump so well yesterday. I mean, Igor Morozov had his best jump in several years. And Britney, now she's got that first jump under her belt, a tidy 43.7 meter opener. I think she'll probably attack the ramp just a little bit more here on jumps 2 and 3.
Yeah, because anybody that follows the MOOMBA Masters knows that over the years, the distances, it's been one of those better places in the world to achieve a good distance. And as we saw with Igor Morozov yesterday, and of course Joel Poland, that was certainly a show to remember. And it was only the elimination round, so we'll be moving on to the finals on Monday afternoon, and that final's going to be an absolute cracker. Well, every single final's going to be fantastic on finals day, but in the meantime, we're running through LCQs and eliminations, and they too have been and are extremely entertaining as Britney Wharton. Well, she's already in the final. I think she's got a wider start this time. She's going to have more speed. Gail just missed a kick a little bit. I was about to say...
She did miss her kick, Rob, but it was still a big jump. She had a lot of speed out there. Britney Wharton's come to play. I love to see it.
I thought still she was going to get some decent sort of lift. Then she kind of was a bit of a combination, but we're seeing it here. I thought she sat back a fraction and even had a bit of a upper body crush as well. And but still, well, she must have had a fair bit more speed because she really lost a fair bit on the ramp and still went 43.8. Her just eclipsing that opening jump by 0.1 of a metre. So opening with 43.7, going 43.8 on her second. And that was really all down to the speed she had. So if she can get some lift, or better lift, and really handle the ramps the way she would really like to with that same cut, definitely can pick up 3 or 4 metres minimum.
Absolutely. She wants to come out of this round as top seed, as Britney Wharton. She's come all the way down from Little Rock in Arkansas. And she wants to walk away from the 2025 MOOMBA Masters with some prize money, some silverware to take home, and a good opening 2 jumps from the American. Out of the cold North American winter, Britney Wharton has had to brave out the winter, skiing in fairly frigid conditions, I'm sure, to train for this event. She's made her way down for the first time to come out from under that Melbourne City skyline. We saw some serious positive intent on jump number 2. This is late again from the American. She drives now into the base of the ramp, off the top, a better jump. Britney Wharton has flown.
Whoa. Well, that's the extra 3 or 4 we were talking about, I think. Really combined everything there, and watch out, ladies, come final time for Britney Wharton.
Has she just taken the lead? It's with Regina Jaquess. She has 49 metres. Great jump there from Britney.
W-O-W. Good stuff.
It's kind of like OMG.
It kind of is like OMG, yeah.
Always rely on Rob to keep us updated with all the latest hip cool language trends.
Yeah. Yes, I learned that one on Top Tick.
Okay, well, last jumper here, your top seed and many-time visitor to the MOOMBA Masters. Let's give a big warm welcome to Sasha Denisova. No, I can't wait for this women's jump final,
Yeah.
Rob, because whatever happens, we're going to be crowning a first-time MOOMBA Masters jump champion. Carol's had a stranglehold on that title for over a decade. I think the last winner that wasn't named Jacinta Carroll was Utalami from Finland all the way back in 2013. So you got to go back a long way.
That's probably the one I was thinking of, that Jacinta. So maybe Jacinta won it in 2012 and then got beaten and then
from there on out.
Continued in.
That sounds
but,
right to me.
Gee, she was pretty filthy on not winning that year. Such is the competitive nature of Jacinta Carroll weeks.
So guaranteed to have a first-time champion. And, I mean, I've seen some really great efforts from Britney Wharton, Regina Jaquess, Lily Steiner have looked really good. Of course, joining them in the final we know will be Sadi Ferguson, who has a lot of ground to make up. She's a much better jumper than the 42.5 she had today. And, of course, from Great Britain, Sanchia Outram, she'll be in that jump final as well. So it's going to be a cracker, the women's jump final, guaranteed to have a first-time winner.
Look, that may be the case for Sadi Ferguson, but the main thing today is get yourself through to the final, and once you're there, well, it all starts brand new again on Monday. Well, I'm really thinking that Sasha Denisova is going to make this final, but she's got to do it. On the day, she turns aggressive approach, pushes in, and welcome to the finals.
Beautiful opening jump from Sasha, longest opening jump of the day. It won't quite be the lead, I don't think, but it's going to be up around that sort of 47, high 40s mark. And she did it so easy, Rob. Just beautiful lift and extension, 47.1 metres.
But without course familiarisation and getting out in the Yarra first jump, that's really what you want to do. Be a little contained, be within yourself, particularly the quality of her jumping, that she can keep it a little bit of a lid on it for the opening jump to sort out the conditions and still guarantee a place in the final. So very clever opening jump there, I would think, from Sasha.
Yeah, great start to her campaign. Sasha made it through to the women's trick final earlier today. Pretty sure. Tripped well. It's been a pretty good week from her, but she'd like to go through as top seed, Rob. And the way she opened, I think it's there for the taking, isn't it?
Yeah.
49 metres the score from Britney Wharton. She's chasing. And she did the 47 so easy. A couple minute adjustments. We could potentially see the 50-metre mark go down. Wouldn't that be great to see? The ladies flying up over 50 metres.
Well, actually, the final should be pretty interesting because I'm picking that Lily Steiner's got a few metres left. And then, of course, Britney Wharton jumping 49 and Sasha opening up with 47. Over 50 today. Can this be the one she turns? Pushes in, still miles of speed. Once again, beautiful ramp work. Oh, maybe just a fraction back from where she might have wanted to be through the air. She might have lost a very small margin there, which could keep her down around that 47 or...
Didn't quite have the speed
I'm
there.
having trouble guesstimating the distance here, but I mean, it's up around in the same spot, 44.9. She's dropped a couple back, 44.9. Yeah, I thought her left ski was kind of just back a little, and maybe she just lost a fraction that was hard to pick up as she came off the top of the ramp, and hard to pick up visually, I'm referring to, and she lost that couple of metres, but still. The 47.1 guarantees her a place in the final. As does the 44.9, so...
Yeah, valuable experience, of course, for Sasha. Every little bit of information she can get from the Yarra River leading into tomorrow's finals. And she's looked pretty good. I mean, hasn't quite snapped off the 50-metre jump she's shooting for, but she's in the final. And she's got one more jump to come.
So our finalists are Sanchia Outram, Sadi Ferguson, Lily Steiner, Regina Jaquess, Britney Wharton, and Sasha Denisova. Our final jump, we're going to have a river open transit and get the course sorted out at the same time, I would hope. And men's slalom, we'll probably double check this and report it to you, but men's slalom LCQ, top 8 guys that miss the final going in an LCQ. The top 2 from there will go through to Monday afternoon's final, is scheduled to start at 20 minutes after 4.
One last jump, though. If you've enjoyed the jumping, we do have night jump, Sunday night jump tonight at starting around 8 p.m. during the fireworks display. But right now, Sasha Denisova. She's in the final, but can she improve her seating? This is much later from Sasha. She's going to have the speed, but I think it was too late in the end, Rob. Probably seeing more white than red from that turn as she approached the ramp. So through to the final, but it will be Britney Wharton on her very first visit to the Yarra River, who comes away as the top seed.
Yep, well, she didn't do anything crazy, so she decided just to let that one go, have a bit of a think about it for what can be on, or what can transpire on Monday afternoon finals day. Now, just before we momentarily wrap up for a few minutes before we have the course change, now there's not going to be anything on the river for 10 minutes or so, it gives you a chance to go to the merchandising tent. MOOMBA Masters official merchandise for 2025 T-shirts, wind cheaters, polo shirts such as modelled by the commentary team throughout the day, and an awesome little waterproof bag that can back up as a backpack. The merchandising tent. Enter yourself in the Visit Denny Count the Lolly competition at the Visit Denny tent. And we'll be back very shortly with men's LCQ slalom.
Do some roving?
Yep. One sec, I need Zeta to come over. Plane comes around, but yes, well, you will be walk back again because I'll be busy on the computer. Are you able to stay on that side? Do you want your name on the screen for the next hour? Yeah. I'll definitely do it on the phone there. Okay, perfect. That works for us. Awards and shit. I'll have it. Okay. So Zeta, they're gonna come and grab that transmitter from you, and in about half an hour's time, I've got a transmitter over here that I'm using for roaming. Once I'm done, I'm gonna have you come over and pick it up. So you could probably start walking now, and or once they pick up the transmitter, start walking over, and come and grab this one. Yesterday you had right. What was that, sorry? Yeah, exactly. Let's go, buddy. Cool. Okay. So we'll go to we might just go to DeWalt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, while we're having our transit break, we're going to head over to some of our sponsors, heading over to DeWalt, your guaranteed tough tools. And I'm going to talk to some of the boys here at DeWalt. Might have lost, we'll get a bit of audio here. What's happening over here at the DeWalt stand, boys? What have we got in store for some of our visitors here at MOOMBA?
Mate, we've got a great selection of our power tools and storage and accessories here. If you're a DIY, a renovator, or you rely on your tools for your job, we've got everything here to come and have a look at. Sign up to our Facebook and you can win some free prizes from us.
So what do we got going on here with the blower? Let's jump in here, Anthony. Come in here. What we got here with the blower? Going to win some prizes. So what do we got to do? So if you got to try and blow the ball up into the holder. Is that what we're trying to do?
Yep, just whatever colour ball comes up, you win a certain prize. So we've got stickers, water bottles, hats and towels. Come up and sign up on Facebook or Instagram and you get a chance to have a go.
Well, there you go. Come up and visit the guys at DeWalt. We've got some new tools as well. What do we got happening over here? We've got the Club Cadet. If you need yourself a new lawnmower as well, what do we got up on display with the Cub Cadet gear?
Yeah, so Cub Cadet, of course, has the 0 turns in the steering wheel models. So we do everything for all lawns, domestic, commercials. We even offer an electric range. So if you want a steering wheel for your slopes, your 20-degree heights, come to us. We're the best in the market and great quality mowers.
Well, come up, guys. Come up and... This here is, of course, the DeWalt